are more talkative than contemplative. In other words, when you go to a church service, if you're a Protestant, you expect the main event to be the sermon, and also the minister's prayer, offered more or less spontaneous, telling God how to control the universe. And if you're a Catholic, you expect the Mass, which has now use of sound or meditation, to a merely instructive affair. We are very verbose in our religion. And because of that, it's all words, words, words. And only rarely does this help us to transform our consciousness. And this is more and more people are realizing is the important thing. Because we discover this, that our extremely powerful technologies are magnifiers or amplifiers. When we do what we will, what we think we desire with technology, we are, as it were, blowing up our image of ourselves to enormous proportions. And many of us are beginning to realize that we don't like it. We discover ourselves to be beings that are hostile to the environment and that are bent on dominating it to the point of destruction. That we don't feel at home in the universe. We feel that our skin, at the very least, is a boundary between a palpitating, sensitive consciousness that's terrified of what's outside the skin and terrified of a good deal that's inside it, like bacteria and cancer cells, weak arteries, cholesterol, what have you. So we have this strange thing that Lancelot White called the European dissociation, the feeling of oneself as a prisoner, involuntarily so, in a hostile world that does not give a damn about our ego. And therefore, when news comes from all about, whether it be from the Orient or whether it be from experiments with psychedelic drugs, when news comes that this feeling of our own existence may be a hallucination, people prick up their ears and would like to know, is there some other mode of consciousness which one can be in, which is not this alienated mode? Because we feel, I think many of us, very, very strongly, that if there is such a place, we would like to be there. That, of course, entails difficulties, which we shall go into. But this is the starting point of the fascination for yoga, for zazen, and also for the Taoist forms of meditation, which are much less known. But there arise problems about this when we are going to convey these disciplines to Western people. Because Western people who are interested in things of this kind are apt to be very interested. Whereas on the other hand, in cultures where things of this kind have been known for thousands of years, there is a tendency for them to become
rotish.
Rather rotish. And therefore, the way of teaching these disciplines, which many Asian teachers use, are designed not for mature adults, but for relatively young people who are not interested in learning. In other words, when a kind of religion, let's take the case of Zen Buddhism, or in Chinese it is called Chan, when after some years pious people have followed these disciplines, and learn to enjoy them, they have a way of telling their children that you ought to enjoy this too. See? And we would like you to go to the monastery. And furthermore, when there's the superstitious feeling that raising a son to be a monk or a priest redounds to one's own good merit in future lives, the more sons you send into the priesthood, the better. It's the same in Catholic countries. It was the same among the British in the Anglican Church during the 18th century, when the first son of the family went into the law, because he had then a good chance of being a successful politician. The second son went into the army, and the third son went into the priesthood. And it is a matter of course. And they had no real interest in religion. They weren't really curious. It was something they were studying out of filial duty to their parents. And especially in these days in Japan, when in order to inherit your father's temple, you have to go to the monastery and take Zen training. It becomes a matter of some urgency. So you have a lot of unwilling young men, sometimes young women, in the nunneries, learning the meditative disciplines under the supervision of ecclesiastical taskmasters who are everywhere in the world exactly the same. I attended from the ages of 13 to 17 an ecclesiastical boys' boarding school in England. I can assure you I've had enough of it. We were very sternly disciplined in the same way as Zen monks are disciplined in Japan today. And it just strikes me as funny that I have what I call the 18 legs school of Zen, in which one sits in Zazen for an unnecessarily long time until one gets paralyzed. And then people come back from Japan or from anywhere and brag about how their legs hurt, as if it was some extremely esoteric discipline. And you know, they bang them about with boards on the shoulders. And like in England, they swap them on the bottoms with canes. And it's all the same old story. And I think we need to go beyond this and develop a certain maturity towards the practice of meditation that is not based on all this boys' boarding school business. But it's very difficult to make people who have been brought up in that system see the point. Because they say, well, we got it this way, and that's the way you have to go in order to do it. So we have discussed this matter, and we feel that there can be an approach which does not insult the dignity of interested Western adults. Well, some people love to have their dignity insulted because they think it's good for them, because it's going to subdue their egoistic pride. But nothing is more egoistic than the project of subduing your egoistic pride. We could read it straight out of Zhuangzi in the dialogue between Lao Tzu and Confucius, or, you know, it's an apocryphal dialogue. Zhuangzi was a great humorist, and he used the most outrageous stories and examples to illustrate his points. And so he put into the mouth of Confucius all sorts of things that Confucius would never have dreamed of saying, but he also arranges a dialogue between Lao Tzu and Confucius in which Confucius gets the wrong end of the stick, where Lao Tzu talks to him and asks him, what is your teaching? And he says it is charity and duty to one's neighbor and absence of self. Well, it says, sir, you are causing great disruption in the empire. Is not your elimination of self a positive manifestation of self? You are like somebody beating a drum in search of fugitive. I mean, we would say, it is like the police about to raid a whorehouse with the sirens on, so that everybody hears them coming and runs away. You see? So in the same way, when you go after with a project to eliminate your selfishness, nothing could be more in the nature of spiritual pride. And you will work on it, and the more you work on it and get uptight and stiff, the more your spiritual bowels increases. So in the Taoist doctrines, there is a principle called Wu Wei, And this means, wu means none or not, no, negation. Wei has a combination of meanings. It can mean action, making, but the best translation I have found for it is forcing. And so Wu Wei is the principle of not forcing in anything that you do. Now we know when we watch any performance of an artist, be it a dancer or an actor or a musician, we know immediately when the performance is forced. And we say it doesn't ring true, it's too artificial, it doesn't seem to be natural. Many people who study the Taoist doctrines think that Wu Wei means do nothing, in the sense of laissez-faire, be lazy, always be passive. It doesn't mean that. There is a time for action. When you study judo, you use muscle only at the right moment. When your opponent is hopelessly overextended and off balance, and you add a little muscle to it and you throw him across the room. But only then. You never use muscle at the wrong moment. For as Shakespeare knew perfectly well, there is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at its flood, leads on to fortune. And so Wu Wei is based on knowledge of the tide, the drift of things. Get with it. Wu Wei is the art of sailing rather than the art of rowing. So, if you say now, one of the most famous sayings in the Lao Tzu book is superior virtue has no intention to be virtuous, and thus is virtue. Inferior virtue cannot let go of virtuosity, and thus is not virtue. So one could also say, the real Wu Wei is not intentionally Wu Wei, and so is Wu Wei. But inferior Wu Wei so tries to be Wu Wei that it isn't. In other words, this is saying Wu Wei is not a matter of cultivated passivity or even of cultivated spontaneity, because there are people who think that they are released, that they have realized that they are the Tao, as all of us in fact are, or that you are, to put it into Vedanta terms, every one of us is the Brahman, the eternal self of the universe, beyond all description or classification or thought. And say, okay, baby, I'm that. Now I'm going to have a ball. Well, what kind of a ball do they have? Well, what they do is they look up the rules on which society runs and do the opposite. Well, that's still running by the rules of society. And it's the mirror image in reverse. That's not spontaneity. You have to be able to realize that you don't know what you really want to do until you are very quiet. And it tells you. So, to quote Jesus, unless you become again as a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And if you read the Bible, incidentally, which is a very dangerous book, as I'm going to be demonstrating in Playboy this December, but understand heaven in a very literal sense, space. See, we are in heaven now because the earth is a spaceship and heaven is space. What is called in Chinese kun, Japanese ku, the void. That's what is important. that most of us don't know this. Even Shakespeare has one of his characters saying, "Oh, that this all too solid flesh would melt." But do you know you're much more space than you are anything else? If the ponderable, I won't say matter, the ponderable whatever in your bodies were condensed and all put together, it would be smaller than the point of a pin. And anyway, somebody once said, even a bishop is 80% water. We are airy nothings. So space is somehow very, very fundamental. We'll go into this in further way. But you understand that heaven is space. And all those references in those nursery rhymes that we learned as children, which were the hymns about heaven. Always we're talking about thrones and crowns and harps and streets of glass. Crystals, transparencies, space. It comes down to space always. Space, which nobody can define, nobody can imagine, appears to be nothing, is the foundation of the universe. But you have to become again as a child to see that. Now you go back to your childhood. What were the fascinating things? What's out there? What's beyond the stars? How long does it go on? And Mama said, it goes on always and always and always. The child wonders. It's exciting. That this is something that never ends. Then the child asks about time. How long ago is long ago? Well, the Bible says that in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Well, what did God do before he did that? Well, one person said he sat up thinking punishments in hell for people who ask silly questions. But still, that is only a joke. And the child thinks, going back and back and back ever. Never begin. So in the same way, we think about death. Go to sleep and never wake up. Never. Why, it would be as if you never had existed. Not only you, but everything else. Which is, of course, the way things were before you were born. You just turn it backwards. You know, how about waking up after having never gone to sleep? That's quite a fraud. There's something fishy about it all. Ichthys, Jesus Christus, Dios Sotir, fish. So we get a funny feeling when we think those questions really through. Very funny feeling. And children, you see, love to get into that funny feeling. Children do all kinds of weird things. They like to spin around as fast as possible, so they watch suddenly the whole ground goes tilting. They do this thing with their eyes, and they go, and they make faces and test out their bodies in all sorts of funny ways. Because they know from the beginning that the world is bigger. Strange thing. Because everybody knows what it's all about, only they won't admit it. Being brought up is being taught not to admit it, that you know very well what's going on. But in order to find out once more as an adult, you have to become again as a child. So what does that involve? It means, ladies and gentlemen, would you please check your ideas and opinions at the door? the way. All your philosophical and religious views, all your logic. Because I say check it at the door advisedly because you can pick it up again when you go out if you feel unsafe without it. I'm not trying to argue you out of your opinion. I'm merely suggesting that for the sake of the experiment, you temporarily suspend and view what is as if you didn't even know how to talk. Red is not red, blue is not blue. Hard is not hard, soft is not soft. Male is not male, female is not female. There is just this jazz. It will not be possible to compel yourselves into this way of looking at things, because what Buddhists call habit energy is going on. And as I talk to you, you will find yourselves thinking in a compulsive and habitual way. This is red, this is green, this is something, this is nothing, this is solid, this is space. All right, now treat those thoughts that are going on in your head in exactly the same way as if they were. See? That's all they are. Like shapes in the spray as the sea breaks on the rocks. Now, please don't get agitated that this is an anti-intellectual point of view, that this is undermining the value of logic and reason and so on. We'll bring all that back later when we need it. But just for the time being, let's simplify. Close your eyes. Listen. What is? What do you really and truly, honestly, hear? Don't name it. Just as if it were music. Classical music. Can you hear the past? Can you hear the future? Can you hear the listener? Where do the sounds come from? Ears alone, please. Look on no hands. Let them tell you the truth. You may be talking to yourselves. Don't try to repress it, as I said, just disregard it. That happens, it's like an itch. Really listen. Dig that sound. Now, that's the easiest way to begin into meditation. For most people. We're all different, of course, and there are different things for different people's temperaments. But I find it simplest to illustrate it by hearing without comment, so that you can get into tune with what is. You can't really get out of tune with it. but we don't know that yet. Maybe some of you do. The art of meditation is a way of getting into touch with reality. And the reason for it is that most civilized people are out of touch with reality because they confuse the world as it is with the world as they think about it, and talk about it, and describe it. For on the one hand, there is the real world, and on the other, a whole system of symbols about that world which we have in our minds. These are very, very useful symbols. All civilization depends on them. But like all good things, they have their disadvantages. And the principal disadvantage of symbols is that we confuse them with reality, just as we confuse money with actual wealth. And our names about ourselves, our ideas of ourselves, our images of ourselves with ourselves. Now, of course, reality, from a philosopher's point of view, is a dangerous word. A philosopher will ask me, what do I mean by reality? Am I talking about the physical world of nature? Or am I talking about a spiritual world? Or what? And to that I have a very simple answer. When we talk about the material world, that is actually a philosophical concept. So in the same way, if I say that reality is spiritual, that's also a philosophical concept. And reality itself is not a concept. Reality is and we won't give it a name. Now, it's amazing what doesn't exist in the real world. For example, in the real world, there aren't any things, nor are there any events. That doesn't mean to say that the real world is a perfectly featureless blank. It means that it is a marvelous system of wiggles in which we describe things and events in the same way as we would project images on a Rorschach blot or pick out particular groups of stars in the sky and call them constellations, as if they were separate groups of stars. Well, they're groups of stars in the mind's eye, in our system of concepts. They are not out there as constellations already grouped in the sky. So in the same way, the difference between myself and all the rest of the universe is nothing more than an idea. It is not a real difference. And meditation is the way in which we come to feel our basic inseparability from the whole universe. And what that requires is that we shut up. That is to say, that we become interiorly silent and cease from the interminable chatter that goes on inside our skulls. Because you see, most of us think compulsively all the time. That is to say, we talk to ourselves. I remember when I was a boy, we had a common saying, talking to yourself is the first sign of madness. Now, obviously, if I talk all the time, I don't hear what anyone else has to say. And so in exactly the same way, if I think all the time, that is to say, if I talk to myself all the time, I don't have anything to think about except thoughts. And therefore I'm living entirely in the world of symbols, and I'm never in relationship with reality. All right, now that's the first basic reason for meditation. But there is another sense, and this is going to be a little bit more difficult to understand, why we could say that meditation doesn't have a reason or doesn't have a purpose. And in this respect, it's unlike almost all other things that we do, except perhaps making music and dancing. Because when we make music, we don't do it in order to reach a certain point, such as the end of the composition. If that were the purpose of music, to get to the end of the piece, then obviously the fastest players would be the best. And so likewise, when we are dancing, we are not aiming to arrive at a particular place on the floor, as we would be if we were taking a journey. When we dance, the journey itself is the point. When we play music, the playing itself is the point. And exactly the same thing is true in meditation. Meditation is the discovery that the point of life is always arrived at in the immediate moment. And therefore, if you meditate for an ulterior motive, that is to say, to improve your mind, to improve your character, to be more efficient in life, you've got your eye on the future and you are not meditating. Because the future is a concept. It doesn't exist. As the proverb says, tomorrow never comes. There is no such thing as tomorrow. There never will be, because time is always now. And that's one of the things we discover when we stop talking to ourselves and stop thinking. We find there is only a present, only an eternal now. So it's funny then, isn't it, that one meditates for no reason at all, except we could say for the enjoyment of it. And here I would interpose the essential principle that meditation is supposed to be fun. It's not something you do as a grim duty. The trouble with religion, as we know it, is that it is so mixed up with grim duties. You do it because it's good for you. It's a kind of self-punishment. Where meditation, when correctly done, has nothing to do with all that. It's a kind of digging the present. It's a kind of grooving with the eternal now. And brings us into a state of peace where we can understand that the point of life, the place where it's at, is simply here and now. Well, now, in the art of meditation, there are various props, supports. One thing that we are going to use as a means of stilling chatter in the mind is pure sound. And for that reason, it's useful to have a gong. This is a Japanese Buddhist gong made of bronze and shaped like a bowl. Or you can use your own.
Okay, this is called a oh, I can't remember the name of it. A Santor. Hope you're having a lovely evening. This is my evening meditation. texting me? I think it's not performing as expected because I think I need to elevate it. Sometimes you gotta lift things up. All right, I'm gonna restart my YouTube live as well. Ooh, 142 live. Ooh, 1.3 thousand people are watching me now. You see, Danny, if you pray to Hashem, Rabbeinu Shalom, your dreams do come true. Something seems off here. Never had one lesson. Never had one lesson. Yeah. Okay, Craig, whoever you are, hope you enjoyed my sunset meditation. Okay, this is Earth in Moon Earth Meditation Yoga. Hope you enjoyed my yoga class. God bless. And again, it's Adrian Dittman, your best friend from X, Elon Musk. This has been my sunset meditation yoga.
Amen. Thank you, bro. You grown a lot, Brian. Stop letting people bait you into acting like you're racist, bro. You a good dude at heart, man. I already know. What's up with everybody, man? Everybody quiet though. What's up, Violet? Hey, that old one never gets old, bro. Sometimes. I think I like the older ones better though than the Johnny Depp one. The Johnny Depp one is weird. Like he just it's way too real. Yeah, there you go. Chocolate factory. Man. Well, yeah, he was made for that role. Like that was the perfect role for Willy Wonka right there. Huh? What, the first one? Oh yeah, with the rain. That's what I thought. But he didn't have it.
Sorry, Alan, I'm a little busy over here. I'm playing the space drum.
I hate when they do the remix with all the twisted soundtracks. Kitover, that shit was hard. The Lion King was so. I like the cartoon better. My bad, I just read it. Oh, word. Why you change it back? I've been waiting to see how you look. I never got a face. Oh, that was Kitover and Gary. What she just said?
Bleep!
Oh, I didn't even look at the screen, bro. No, that girl needs to stop with all that, bro. Like that's it's just so unnecessary.
Right, the other day I texted Mondo and I was like, because Cora was in here going on a spiel about something. Like she had a pink ticket, and I was like looking at that pink ticket. I was like, you know what? Fuck that shit. I like texted Mondo. I was like, yo, can you get any way you can get Tony in this room for 2 seconds? That's all I need. And then he was like, I'll ask. I'll send him a message. And then you came in, and literally within a second, that's all it took. Bro, she shut it up and
Yeah,
Hulk Gold decided to fucking do it. And mind you, I don't even have a car, and I'm against it. And it's supposed to help people like me. So
Yeah, and the thing about Trump is that I thought that because, like, from all the publicity he was getting, I thought that he's gonna stop the war happening in the world. I thought that he was gonna increase the economy. Like when it comes to like, how can I say this? Salaries and taxes, like they're gonna be lower and the salaries are gonna be higher. I thought that he was gonna do good things, but then I started to see the mass deportation of the Mexicans and him
not
trying
just
to like,
Mexicans, it's everybody.
it's everybody. And it's
They ship 2 plane loads of people to Colombia and El Salvador and many places.
Guatemala.
They said, of course, that they were just going to go after criminals. That of the 1,000 people they grabbed, half were totally innocent of any law other than coming into the country. So that's the thing about the guy who's alive.
Diamond.
He's the most documented liar in the history of the world.
Diamond. To put things in perspective that you can understand, that's if Jonas Støre, which is the president of Norway, decided to export all Americans and all non-Norwegians, regardless of what they did or not, decided to expel them from Norway. Just to put things in your perspective.
oh my god.
You'd be
So there you
gone.
go.
You weren't born in Norway. You'd be gone. Did you enter
Yeah,
Norway legally, Diamond?
Even the
No.
skilled immigrants.
No, because the thing is, I came to Norway, but I didn't come the way other immigrants came. I came because my dad, he lives here, and I have also like my Norwegian grandmother, and so I already came to a house that is ready for me, a bedroom that is ready for me, and a passport that I have to wait only 1 year. And like
So you have a Norwegian passport now?
yeah,
Okay,
So
and
are you a citizen of Norway?
I'm a citizen. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
this
so
citizenship.
so put it this way. So let's say, for instance, one day, Jonas Støre decided to expel you just because you were of different origin.
I'm gonna call my Norwegian grandma. I'm gonna be like, Grandma, come check your guy. I'm not gonna be
Wouldn't
expelled.
do
I'm
you any
half
good.
Norwegian.
In America, they'll still put you on a plane and take you back to a country you know nothing about.
You know, and it's the funny thing is like somebody told me last night. Someone told me last night on one of the other one of the other rooms. They were like, Mark, why don't you go back to where you came from? I laughed. I laughed hysterically because I was like, oh, okay, so you want to send me back to Queens, New York, as opposed to where I live right now, Manhattan, which is basically 2 miles away. So you want to send me back to Queens, New York, which is where I was born. And I was laughing so hard because people are just ignorant.
So is he like deporting all the skilled immigrants as well?
He's deporting, well, according...
They kicked me. They kicked me. I didn't even say anything yet. Jesus.
Oh, God.
That's the name of the book.
What's the book?
That's right.
The Adventures of Baron Trump.
That. Yeah.
Who has a book like that?
But how sexy is Baron?
It was written 100 years ago.
Angel. Isn't he sexy? Like, what a cool kid.
By sexy, we mean autistic. I like that he gave like a Francisco Franco style, or I guess you could say Hitler. Actually, I haven't caught up with everything. Alarmo, what did you think about Elon's little, Roman salute? Nothing.
It means nothing. It's
That
ridiculous.
news.
Yeah, I was watching our
It's kind of cool, don't you think? Shouldn't we bring that back? I think we should bring it back.
I'm not it looked too awkward.
Yeah, the way he did it, yeah, it
He
was
was
awkward.
like fluttering like an autistic person.
Yeah, he's weird.
Chip in their brain.
Hey, oh my God! Did you see this one that he posted today? That 100 years ago, someone said that the first colonizer of Mars will be named
Yes,
Elon.
yes, he posted a picture of
What
the
the
book,
hell?
and I was like, and even with Doge, right? Elon had endorsed
Yeah.
Dogecoin like years ago, it was a decade ago. Elon had endorsed
Yeah.
Dogecoin, and sure enough, he is the head of Doge, which is a different thing. But I commented on his post saying, "Oh, you time traveler." Crazy.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Something weird's going on here, Angel. Like, there's too much winning going on.
Doge is a royal rank in Venice, as I recall, right?
Yes, no, it's not the Royal Ranch. It's a
Rank, I said.
It's no, I don't think it's a rank. It's a
The title.
whatchamacallit.
It's administrative.
Doge?
DOG.
No, it's an office. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's an office. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a title of a person, but it's not a rank or anything. It's some kind of office. It's famous because it has that you know that famous thing in the wall where you stick your arm in Roman holiday. It eats your hand.
Glory
If you're a bad person or something. It's like a glory hole, yes, but you stick your arm in it. Well, okay. Long story short, the Doge in Venice is like a mouth imprinted on a wall, but what you do is you drop in tips to the government about who's not paying their taxes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's snitchalicious.
It's a confession hole.
Yeah, it's like a snitch thing.
It's a confession
nobody
hole.
likes a snitch, you know. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Nobody.
But you're winning a Normo too. Before you got in here, we were talking about he's gonna clear out that for you, make like a beach property. Everybody's winning.
Yeah, he's building a smart city. We're gonna put Normo there.
Too much winning.
Except, yeah.
Too much winning. Cutting aid to every place but Egypt and Israel.
Oh
I don't
God,
know.
yeah.
It's biblical. It's biblical.
Can't make all
It's
this up.
literally
This is
biblical.
crazy.
Trump is playing God.
But isn't this how an empire should be run? And then we're gonna get Greenland, and we might get Canada too. Oh my God!
Did you hear the Greenland?
That would be
the Greenlanders. They speak some weird language. Did you hear that they want to join the United States?
Yeah, like a majority of them are interested. But did you hear that France is considering sending troops
For what?
to Greenland
Why?
to secure it for Denmark?
Why France?
France can't even secure
I know.
themselves. So France gonna secure Denmark.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is crazy times, man.
It's like a good movie you're enjoying, and just take your popcorn, sit down, and watch.
Yeah.
Militarily, you know how you defend Paris?
How do you do that?
It's a trick question. It's never been done.
Never? Are you sure?
It's a joke. It's a joke.
That's a good one.
It's about we're mocking the French for not being very militarily courageous.
No, they're all like that guy in Casablanca. I forget what his character name is.
I know who you mean now.
I just watched that shit.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I just watched it like with my dad on 4K. They just re-released it. It looked amazing.
Written by two Jewish brothers.
Really, and apparently quickly too.
I didn't know of this.
Like they just put it together. Yeah. They said they put it together real quick. You know what my dad likes about Casablanca?
Water?
And you should take. I'm not gonna put this on you, El Normo, because I feel like you've lived a full life, but I think you gotta tell your Jewish brothers this.
What do you want me to
Let me
prepare
finish
for
with
my
it.
funeral over here?
Normal.
No. I mean,
My funeral.
Here's what I mean to say.
Normal.
No, I'm sorry. What I mean to say is, my dad and I were commenting about how you can't write a movie like Casablanca unless you've actually lived life and had experiences about things. It seems to us anyway. That was our big takeaway. And now, Hollywood is still run by Jews, but now the movies don't show any signs that anyone has ever lived like real life and knows what the hell is going on. Everything appears like, what, Los Angeles is the capital of Los Angeles County. You know what I mean? It seems like that. Like they live in that world and that's it. That's all they know.
Have you ever watched David O. Russell?
Yeah, sure.
Three Kings and what's that?
Yeah.
And the other one about the two crazy people with Bradley Cooper. I mean, I just have it at the top of my head. I mean, it's pretty good. There's some good stuff that comes out of Hollywood.
Speaking of Hollywood,
Yeah, but that was 25 years ago, Alormo.
What was?
Newsflash.
Oh, well, that's true.
Three Kings?
That's true. Well, did we talk about S. Craig Zoller? Bone Tomahawk and Dragged Across Concrete?
I think those are fantastic films, but most people they're not crazy about them.
Well, I am.
I think they're great.
Did we talk? We must have talked about that already then.
We probably did. I watched that movie. They put it on Apple TV before it had a final cut. It was a bizarre thing. You could buy or rent the movie to watch, but it said it's not finished, which I thought was bizarre. Like I've never seen that before.
Dragged Across Concrete, you mean?
Yeah, Dragged Across Concrete. And I started watching that, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to finish this movie. It's going to be crap. It's got Mel Gibson in it. He doesn't make anything good anymore. And I was just like hooked.
Wow.
Next thing I knew, it was like 2 a.m. because it was like a long cut of that movie, and it was just whoa. It was, and then I watched it again, and I couldn't tell how they cut it down or what they changed. It seemed to be the same movie. The final cut.
There's a third film that he made too, which I haven't seen yet. I forget the name of it.
Cell Block 9.
Is it good?
It's with Vince Vaughn. I haven't seen it.
Oh, I love Vince Vaughn. Have you heard of the movie called Prime? Write it down.
No.
Put a little note down now. It's like a handmade film by one guy. Made it just like out of his pocket, with whatever money he could scrape together. It's about time travel.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a handmade.
You're talking about Primer?
No. Oh, Primer. Yeah, you're right. Primer. You have seen it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Yep, I've seen that movie. Yep. Oh, great! I saw it when I was in a film school, and it made me want to make a movie.
That's exactly right.
Because it was done on a no budget, right?
Correct. On a shoestring, yeah. Like
it was all conceptual.
Apple pies, yeah. Yeah, there's no special effects or anything, and it all works.
Yep. It was great.
Sorry for the rabbit hole to the other.
I got it. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta take this call. One second.
Okay. Let's not be anti-Semitic and not mod the only Jew in the room, okay?
It's Diego's call. No.
I'm semi-kidding. I don't really care. Okay, I'll just try to make a joke.
Oh no, Edmund wants to come scream at me again.
You know what? He's been really cool lately. He really has been cool. It's weird. Hi, Edmund.
What up? I'm not going to yell at you. I mean, you're too beautiful to yell at, but I will say,
Thank you.
both of you, I suppose. Maybe all 4 of you.
Are you talking to her, not me?
Well, no, I mean, I'll compliment you all. You're all beautiful.
Thank you. I'm using a shampoo.
It's interesting you mentioned shampoo. I've often told Diego he needs to try out Head and Shoulders to get out from underneath that dandruff problem.
What do you think the story is with Danny, now that she's not here we're talking?
She's like any other young girl who has using this app for short-term dopamine because has terrible anxiety about her future.
But
Hey, I didn't know that, boys.
if I fit into that category, does that make me like a young girl too?
No, you have to realize that I have a picture of the Mashiach in my wallet, and his name is Menachem Schneerson, and above the Mashiach it says, "You need not worry about your future."
Do you really think he's a Mashiach?
No, I'm just saying that he is a bringer of wisdom, and if you know the wisdom, you don't have to worry about your future.
You know what? Something's going wrong with me because Adrian makes more sense every day to me. That must be it.
Malfunction ignored.
You got kicked out of another room today, and I was there to record the after reaction response. I know you really like that additional dopamine. It's like
I love that.
it's like a
correct. My phone died. I'm not getting kicked out. My phone died. Which room was it? Was it politically correct?
No, it was some other room full of young, exciting people.
I think I mentioned this in the morning, but I was watching Matt Gaetz on Bill Maher's podcast, and he told Bill Maher that politically correct was...
Gates was on Bill Maher on this
Oh,
podcast.
you have to watch it. You have to watch it because
What's that
he
podcast called? Vice? No.
It's
What is
called,
it?
no, it's called Club Ranch. Club Random, yeah.
Oh, I have to look it up.
Oh my God, you have to see Matt Gage. Like he immediately insults Bill Maher and starts off on the wrong foot. It's hilarious.
I love him.
He tells Bill Maher that politically incorrect was a better show than Real Time.
That's not much of an info.
Oh my, Bill Maher couldn't take it. He was like, "Are you saying I peaked 25 years ago?"
On ABC.
I think they're kidding around.
No, they made up.
He was
If you watch the whole thing, they end up complimenting each other. It's always a love fest. He gets stoned, and then he fawns over whoever he has, but he has to create some controversy.
Yeah. He fawns over some more than others, though.
Matt Gaetz, he said some weird things, like, when men get young pussy. Like, he said things, that he would never say publicly, but he said things still. He's like a married man. He just got married or whatever, and he has an adopted son who's like 26, 25, 24.
Wait, I want to know what happened. Finish the sentence. What's going to happen?
He's talking about how men will give everything they have and drop their wives, their children, their jobs if they get a taste of young pussy. And it's like, what? That's what he said.
I like how Norm got a phone call. He's like, no, I have to hear this. So he rejected the phone call.
Well, it's true.
I want to know what happened in case I decide to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, pussy can bend steel, meaning that the dopamine rush from it is so high, no other drug can approach it, I suppose. But even then, it's like, I'm just like amazed. This is like a married guy publicly saying this vulgar type of shit. He's a former congressman. Maybe there's something in his character or about those lawsuits that are, actually, maybe there's some truth in there. But he goes into detail with that with Maher, and Maher says, "I knew it was all fake." And he's like, you can read his body language and try to determine for yourself how you feel about the guy. But when he starts talking about young pussy, I was like, what?
Doesn't our gay friend claim that his adopted son is something else?
Our gay friend?
Right. Remember when you asked him about Matt Gaetz and the...
Yeah. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But there's, I recall that Ryan had said that he's having a relationship with that boy. Or
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's something weird there. For sure. I mean, Matt Gaetz was talking about how you know what Matt Gaetz said? He said that he used to hang out with Joe Scarborough when he was 14.
Oh,
and
wow.
if you do the math, that's when Joe Scarborough's secretary ended up dead. I don't know if you guys remember that story.
No. How old are you? 50, Diego?
I hang out with older people.
I didn't know his history though. It was pretty interesting because like he got into politics like when he was 26 or something, and he was in office for 12 straight years. So he actually has an incredible amount of experience.
Yeah.
But given his homosexual history, it sounds like he's probably making statements like that to overcompensate.
Matt Gates?
Yeah.
Yes.
He had a homosexual past?
No, he lives with a he would live with a 14-year-old boy when he was a single man, and that boy still now is 26, but still lives with him.
Why?
He adopted him.
Why?
It's like a cabana boy. What do you mean why?
Well, wait. I thought the kid was maybe from like his marriage or something.
Imagine if you live with a 14-year-old girl when you're 26.
That's really weird. I didn't know that. But look at the Woody Allen thing with, adopting a child and marrying the child. Is there anything more fucking creepy and sick than that?
Nope. No, but I understand it.
You understand it from what? Like a hygienic, rich person perspective of controlling everything? Is that the way you understand it?
No, like one time, I went on this date with this older woman, and she asked me to. He said, "Why don't you date my daughter instead?" That type of thing. In other words, like there are in the old days, if the family of the adults condoned it, it was okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're very skewed in the way we view relationships today based on historical precedents, but nonetheless, the now is all important.
Yes. I heard you recently went out on a date with a 19-year-old. She could be your daughter.
Yeah, nothing happened. I mean, we just had a nice dinner, but she was a vapor and a TikToker, and
Wow.
but yeah, she didn't even want to text me back either. I was a total gentleman, and I was a total gentleman because she lives close by, and even if she doesn't want to be.
It was a second date.
No. This was a one-time date with the 19-year-old redhead.
No, what about the redhead, the 21-year-old?
Oh, she was 21. Yeah, she's a redhead. Yeah, she was 21 because she was drinking.
Yeah, but she's not texting you back.
No, she didn't text me back.
That sucks.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I care.
21.
Yeah.
That's kind of the rule.
She was I sent her a picture that my sister sent me of her dogs, and it was like of the inauguration, and she wrote on there like the dogs are celebrating Trump, and she texted me back. She's like, "Ew, your sister is a Trump supporter."
Man, hey,
You did your job, Adrian.
the thing is, Adrian, I remember when I sent you a whole bunch of pictures of some treasury, bills.
What? I didn't get any text messages from her.
You never got any treasury bills from me?
No, I haven't gotten a text message from you in a long time.
So you're saying you've never gotten a treasury bill from me? Is what you're saying?
No, you sent me $200 on Cash App.
Oh, hey, how can I do that? I want some $200. I earned it too.
I know. I was very surprised. I was like, wow, what an incredible blessing.
Yeah,
Thank you, Brian.
Dude, I wasn't trying to tell everybody how much I sent you. I'm just saying, those are treasury bills. Those are the clown pentameters of what you consider currency.
I thought you were talking about like pictures of bonds or something. Like treasury bonds. You know how people used to buy.
Pentameters. I've never heard that before.
Oh, you didn't know that the Federal Reserve actually isn't in banking, they're actually in the hypnosis creation industry?
That's true. This is true. This is not very well understood by people. How do we destroy them, John?
It starts with a B and ends with an N, and it spells Bitcoin hypnosis. It's a new hypnosis. Have you heard about it? It's called Bitcoin. Everybody's talking about it all the time, 24/7, 7 days a week. It's at $100,000 a coin. Even today, Princessia spent 2 hours talking to Mike Frager, about Bitcoin. And David Bobadilla is here. We don't do it, man.
The problem is that John acts like salacious. John has a salacious attitude, and he knows that I've got more money than he does. And I give him money all the time, so he doesn't have to go do a whole bankruptcy, before he gets a deal. Fuck Chicago. I mean, I'll go and take the Lady Hawk and sink that bitch.
I know. I was thinking about.
Fuck your sailboat.
I was thinking about sinking it this summer.
You want to talk about me? You want to talk shit? I talk shit a lot, but bro, you've been talking a lot of shit about me lately, John.
No, I haven't. I intentionally do not speak any shit about you. I don't say shit about you because I respect you and like you, and I got nothing to talk shit about. But I also don't want to make enemies on this
Shout
episode.
out that you made the other day, Mr. Kitover.
To who?
To Diego.
About what?
How much you miss him.
Miss him? You're projecting. I thought you were gonna say.
Recorded, John.
Really?
No, the thing is, he's really split between Diogenes and Jacobus.
Jacobus? Oh my God.
I'm convinced Edmund has the schizophrenia because he has several personalities, and one does not remember what the other one is.
Pretty sure that's not schizophrenia. That would be dissociative identity disorder.
Okay, I'm gonna play it for. Is it okay to play it for him, Diego?
Yeah, go ahead. Please do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna. Should I do a higher? I'll just do it on my phone. Sorry if it's not good quality.
I'm interested. I think I heard this already.
I think I might know what this is. Is this where I was saying, where I was imitating?
Shout out to our dandruff king and queen, wherever you two are. I hope you get off underneath that dandruff problem. That's what I hope you two are happy and not planning everything, huh? These fucking Jews, you can't take them anywhere.
I knew that's what it was gonna be. I knew it.
That's awesome. I like that you still think about me, man.
Well, I was doing a show for Abby, so it really tickles her feather when I imitate Princessia.
Does she miss me?
No, but she hates Princessia.
Adrian, this was near your 10-minute Torah reading room. It wasn't. It was just a few days ago.
Yeah, I remember saying it.
Yeah, it wasn't an invitation. It was.
Oh no, you didn't get to the imitation part.
Okay.
Hey, John, do you want to see me shave my whole beard off and just give myself a little mustache?
No, actually keep it. I'll change my PTR to from what did I say, Henry and the Hendersons, or what was that Wookiee called? Harry. You look like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
You know the only thing I recall from that movie is when he's trying to get the big
I was
to get into the
Ryan
car.
Henderson. Why y'all picking on me?
You remember that movie when he's trying to get him into the car and he's throwing these hamburgers in there?
He got knocked out in the first time and they got put in the back and then they were driving him home and he woke up. So right.
No, I'm talking about the other time where he ends
Yeah.
up throwing the hamburgers in there and they look delicious.
Dude, it was a 1986 Jeep Wagoneer. Do you even know the vehicle?
Well, yeah, I grew up with one of those. That's what my family would drive. I love that damn vehicle. I broke my foot on that vehicle.
Did you end up watching live
Gladiator 2, Diego?
Oh no, not yet. No.
Oh, dude, that was garbage.
Oh, shut up, dog.
Dude, no, seriously,
No,
no, hold on. Honestly, critical critique of your version of how you liked it versus my version of not liking it. And I would ask you to, open the floor.
You saw it, Angela?
I think you were so drunk that you don't even remember it.
Did you see it, Angela, or are you just saying that?
No, I really, really, really liked it.
Really? I heard people got like super.
I really hated it.
I heard people were watching it and they got like really, like there's a point in the movie where it's just becomes totally retarded and people don't like it anymore.
Yeah, it's dumb as fuck, Edmund. It's dumb as fuck.
What was it that made it stupid though? Like, what was the critique? Because I heard there were scenes that where people were like, "What the fuck?"
It was like the rhinos in the water. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Did you understand history and I've studied or looked into like?
Understand history? Denzel Washington in Rome running shit like a boss, like a G.
Listen. No. If you understand history and how people compare today's politics with U.S. politics with Roman Empire and all of that, and Denzel Washington was like the typical Obama. It was just like it's like Gladiator was playing this Timmy like a Trump role. It was insane, the similarities and the events and the characters and what was
Yeah, my
happening.
question is, do you think a nigger like that would actually been in Rome in the Senate?
You think a nigger like that would have been a freaking president?
Well, yeah, based on the way that white fragility works.
The guy's not even American. They made him president, and he changed the world.
Do you realize that during BLM, white people were licking shoes for like years and talking about white guilt, and like people went fucking crazy, and it was all communication hypnosis. None of it's real. It's all just fucking push down propaganda from the media. And thus the state, because now that they're gutting DEI, you can see how federal agencies, it's nothing but just fucking, oh, you suck dick, you dress as a woman, you're a black woman, like, come on in, you got a job with us, you could stay forever. Yeah, I mean, Rear Admiral Levine is a perfect example of DEI, and I was talking to that Christian, what's-his-face, who ran for Congress in Arizona, talk to that guy. I mean, the whole thing was propaganda, and when you look back on it, I mean, even when people voted for Kamala or Trump, I went to the bar and I was talking, to people, and you could just tell. I'm like, you voted Kamala, didn't you? Yeah, I voted for Kamala. It's like, yeah, I know. You don't have to be ashamed about it. You lost. You're already a loser. You're fully zapped up, triple boosted. Like, you're not wearing a dress. Where's your wig?
Zapped up, triple boosted.
Yeah, double zap, triple boosted. Like, you ain't full Fauci. I mean, do you realize people, like, even talking to Morel on here earlier, like, people were in love with Fauci. People felt like Fauci was the answer and they trusted everything he said. I mean, can't be further from the truth. I mean, you know it and I know it. Huh?
People had Fauci long signs.
I know.
Why did they pardon him?
Because he's so culpable and so nefarious, he had to pardon him because it was such a giant fucking operation. Talking about years and years of Fauci on Good Morning America, talking to Zuckerberg, talking like the propaganda that Fauci put out, it was incredible. He spent a lot of time creating videos. So did Melinda Gates, so did Bill Gates. In the very beginning, Melinda Gates, I'll never forget it, was teaching people how to wash their fucking hands on Good Morning America. I was like ready to fucking puke. And then an article comes out yesterday or 2 days ago that says Bill Gates' biggest regret in life was divorce.
I'm convinced Melinda left them because they were worried the Epstein list will come out and she will be part of it. So she left them. But Fauci didn't just spread propaganda. He literally created viruses and killed people. Millions of people.
Yeah, but it's not just the V's, it's the Zavs, it's the boosters. That is what really finished off a lot of people. It wasn't just in the beginning. I talked to Morel about
No,
this.
HIV, are you kidding me?
Oh, that one
He
too.
was behind the spread of that shit.
I know, but not just the spread of it, but the cure was just as bad as the disease. And that's why the Zav is the virus and the virus is the Zav. Like they go hand in hand, but the devastation of the injections far outweighs the dangers of the military biological terror weapon they released upon the population. The Zavs are the real terror weapon. That's the big that I really do believe it is a depop. Like they've depopped because the birth rates have fallen from like 1.8 to 1.5 to 1.1. Planned Parenthood doesn't even perform abortions anymore because there's nobody to abort.
Danger Will Robinson. Dude, John, you're so stupid. You're smart. That's your problem. That's your problem. That is literally your problem. You're so dumb. You're smart.
What was the noise that Harry, the Wookiee, made? Was it?
No, it was.
Well, Kennedy is about to get confirmed, so that's huge. Yeah, I think Morel said he's going to drive that.
To their questions, what they ask him and how he answers them.
He's so good that it is going to be
let's
devastating.
play some trivia and see who's smarter than most. Because I think all you motherfuckers are stupid. Like I want somebody to actually start doing some fucking trivia in this bitch, so we can figure out who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about. Because I know fucking Adrian Dittman is a pussy bitch that don't know his ass from a hole in the ground, and I would slap him to the ground, and he called me COVID because he wouldn't take shit for 2 weeks.
Well, this guy I know, I was at the bar with a bunch of like people that I knew from high school and whatnot, and this guy at the bar who I knew from high school, good looking guy, cool guy, he wanted to test me in the same way, so he sat down, he folded his legs, he took a drink from his beer, and he said, "Go ahead, smart guy, tell me one fucking thing that's true." Guess what I said?
Your mom was a hoe.
No, I said all communication is hypnosis. And his fucking head exploded. He fell out of the chair.
Fuck your bitch ass fucking.
What are you guys blabbering about?
Dude, Adrian is such a pussy bitch that like he wants to think he's smart.
I'm not smart. I just have read some books that have pointed some things out which I believe are obvious when you think about them.
But you're literally a hoe. You need to shut the fuck up.
I'm not smart because I have become stupid. That's the whole point of becoming stupid. You become smart.
The more you talk, the further away from the truth both of us, you and I get it.
Exactly. Stop thinking, end your problems.
Yeah, I do look like Harry. I didn't even realize I look like Harry.
Hey, Doc, how many drinks have you?
Well, no, I was born Brian Fitzpatrick Henderson. That was my name. And then when I was like, it
doesn't sound very Jewish to me.
That movie came out in the 80s, and people called me
These
Harry
are the wannabe
Henderson.
Jews.
But